ในช่วงของ World Update วันนี้นะคะจะพาคุณผู้ชมค่ะไปติดตามกันกับบทสัมภาษณ์ของคุณโจนาธาน เคอร์ติสนะคะซึ่งก็เป็น Co-Manager ของ Templeton เทคโนโลยีฟันค่ะซึ่งก็มีประสบการณ์นะคะในแวดวงเทคโนโลยีมานานกว่า 25 ปีครึ่งหนึ่งค่ะในฐานะนักลงทุนและอีกครึ่งหนึ่งนะคะเป็นวิศวกรค่ะ Templeton เทคโนโลยีฟันนะคะมีออฟฟิศตั้งอยู่ไม่ไกลกับบริษัทเทคยักษ์ใหญ่ในสหรัฐนะคะในละแวกซิลิคอนวัลเลย์เลยทีเดียวค่ะคุณเคอร์ติสบอกว่าเป็นเรื่องที่น่าตื่นเต้นเพราะบริษัทยักษ์ใหญ่มากมายทั้ง Apple, Google และ Samsung ต่างพยายามพัฒนาสมาร์ทโฟนเพื่อเป็นสิ่งเชื่อมโยงฐานผู้บริโภคเกือบ 3,000 ล้านรายจำนวนสมาร์ทโฟนเองอาจไม่ได้โตมากนักแต่สิ่งที่น่าสนใจที่รอคอยอยู่ข้างหน้าคืออีคอมเมิร์ซทั้ง Alibaba กับ Amazon ที่จะเข้ามาเติมเต็มแพลตฟอร์มสมาร์ทโฟนอีโคซิสเต็มพร้อมกับแนวโน้มการเติบโตของทั้งด้าน Sharing Economy และ Digitalization ที่ร้อนแรงPlease elaborate more on that as well, like with the sharing economy and also like the digitalization.
Yeah, so certainly the sharing economy, Uber is a good example of that, where drivers are able to share their personal vehicles essentially with a network of consumers that need rides. Certainly, we're seeing a similar phenomenon with Airbnb. They're doing a great job of having homeowners open up their homes so they can monetize real estate assets in a unique way. I think there's also really exciting opportunities in e-commerce. Two leaders there are, and big holdings in the fund, are Amazon and Alibaba. While those companies are very big today and growing, they're also growing at a very good pace, and yet they're still in the very early days of exploiting their opportunity. We estimate in the U.S. that less than 9% of commerce activity happens in some e-commerce format. The leader is clearly Amazon. Similarly, in China, we estimate that less than 15% of commerce activity is happening on some e-commerce platform. The leader there is clearly Alibaba. So as these companies build out distribution closer to the end user and bring on new categories onto their platforms, we see a very long runway for growth for both of those companies. And then, of course, that fails to even mention the massive data assets that they have, which really differentiates them from other retailers. They have perfect insight into what shoppers are doing in their online stores. They have perfect history of what their shoppers have bought. And they're able to use those data sets to ultimately make really powerful and compelling recommendations to their consumers. We think these companies, with their large data assets, are going to start using artificial intelligence more aggressively. This also is driving demand, for instance, for digital payments. So two of our biggest positions in the fund are MasterCard and Visa. We estimate that less than 20% of transactions in the world are done in some sort of digital format, still are mostly done with cash. And so as e-commerce continues to grow and consumers get more and more comfortable with using their shopping in this manner, that's going to drive structural growth for these attractive businesses that are already worldwide platform businesses in their own right. We see them only getting stronger in the years ahead.
เห็นได้นะคะว่ายังมีช่องว่างในการเติบโตที่มหาศาลแต่สำหรับบริษัทเทคโนโลยีใหญ่ๆเท่านั้นไม่ว่าจะเป็น Amazon Facebook หรือว่า Google ซึ่งเป็นบริษัทนะคะธุรกิจแพลตฟอร์มขนาดใหญ่ที่ Franklin Templeton นะคะสนใจในการลงทุนค่ะ
These larger companies are interesting because they're still early in their evolution, but they're also platform companies. So they get energy from their consumers and from their partners, which only makes them stronger, gives them access to more data. And these big companies, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Alibaba, Tencent, they're all growing at extremely healthy rates. So we love big platform businesses that can have good runways for growth ahead of them. They're still early in their evolution, showing strong and expanding margin structures, and ultimately, because they are platform businesses, we think the retention on those platforms are going to be quite high for them. So we are overweight internet names, we're overweight application software, we're underweight communications equipment, we're underweight IT hardware, we're neutral weight on semiconductors, and we're a little overweight on semiconductor capital equipment. And that aligns with what our analysts think are the opportunities and the risks in the technology sector. But again, we believe that tech is really going to be driving disruption outward from it, and really will be the tool that will be used by industries far flung from technology to protect themselves from disruption and to drive their own disruption.
อีกหนึ่งเทรนด์ที่ไม่มีใครไม่พูดถึงคือเทคโนโลยีปัญญาประดิษฐ์ที่บริษัทเทคโนโลยีใหญ่ๆต่างๆก็ปรับตัวเข้าหาเพราะสามารถเข้ามาแก้ไขปัญหา Big Data ที่มีอยู่และยังช่วยให้สามารถเรียนรู้พฤติกรรมผู้บริโภคเพื่อตอบโจทย์ความต้องการในตลาดได้อย่างมีประสิทธิภาพมากยิ่งขึ้น Just now you were talking about the artificial intelligence as well, the AI that we have been hearing quite often nowadays. How do you see these tech companies adapting to this technology?
Yeah, we think it's going to be very important for these technology companies in the years ahead. We ultimately believe AI is a response to a big data problem. The cost of computing on data, storing data, collecting data has all been falling dramatically, and that has been creating these very large data sets. So we think most of the companies in our top 10 are platform businesses with very rich data assets on their own. We think that these data assets are going to be able to be used to ultimately discern and learn new important things about their customers that will create new sources of revenue for them. I'll give you a great example of a big company that's taking advantage of AI to create new sources of revenue for themselves, Microsoft. On the transition to software as a service, they're taking the Office suite, the Office productivity suite, and the email solutions they've sold for years and moving that into a cloud context. When they do that, they are going to be able to, different from the old model where they sold their software maybe every 5 years to an enterprise, and they lost visibility for how the products were being used and the output of their products. In the SaaS model, they're going to have near perfect visibility into exactly how their Office products are being used, and they will be able to see all of the emails an enterprise sends, all of the chats an enterprise does, all of the Word documents, PowerPoint documents, Excel documents that are being generated by the enterprise, and then reason across that massive database to gain new insights. Then they're going to combine that with the LinkedIn business they bought. And LinkedIn is powerful for two reasons. One, it has deep insights into how your employees are interconnected with one another, and how they're interconnected externally. It also has hierarchy information on effectively sort of who reports to who, and ultimately from that you can discern who has buying power. So very valuable for customer relationship management.
แต่ถ้าหากพิจารณานะคะในแง่ของการลงทุนแล้วหุ้นในกลุ่มของเทคโนโลยีนะคะมีการปรับตัว outperform ตลาดหุ้นสหรัฐ NASDAQ 100 Technology Sector นะคะมีการปรับตัวสูงขึ้น 38% year to date ซึ่งประเด็นนี้ค่ะคุณเคอร์ติสมองไว้เป็นอย่างไรหุ้นในกลุ่มของเทคโนโลยีมีราคาแพงไปหรือยัง What do you think about stock technology stock at the moment? Do you think that because year to date for the tech stock in the US market it has been outperforming other stock sectors. So what do you think about it? And then is it already gone too far, or you think there's still some upside for that?
It's a good question. So certainly performance year to date has been very strong, and certainly over the past year. We think valuations in the tech space are actually quite reasonable, however. You look at the valuation of the S&P 500 versus the S&P 500 tech subsector, and they're both trading roughly in line, and yet we consider the technology sector to be a superior subsector. It's had better growth over the past 3 years. It's got some of the highest EBITDA margins. It certainly has the strongest balance sheets, and really tech is at the center of all of these transformations that we think we're about to see in industries far flung from technology. Transportation industry is a perfect example with businesses like Uber or Didi. Really that industry has been transformed. And we think that really industries are looking at what's happening in the transportation space, in financial services, and wondering, okay, how do I adopt and embrace technology to take advantage of the opportunity and the threat that's being posed by new digital disruptors coming in and exploiting new relationships with those 3 billion smartphone users that are in the market. So, and then finally, on a price to earnings growth basis, tech is actually one of the least expensive relative to all the subsectors. So even though it's performed well year to date, the quality is quite high, the valuation is quite reasonable, and really this subsector is at the center of all of the big changes that we think are coming in the years ahead.
จากแนวโน้มที่โตต่อได้ Franklin Technology Fund ยังได้ทยอยลงทุนในหุ้น Apple ในช่วง 6 เดือนที่ผ่านมาท่ามกลางความหวังว่าฐานลูกค้าของบริษัทเทคโนโลยียักษ์ใหญ่ในสหรัฐผู้นี้จะยังคงเหนียวแน่นในบริการและสินค้าของบริษัทโดยหุ้นของ Apple เป็นหนึ่งในหุ้น 20 อันดับต้นๆที่กองทุนนี้ลงทุนอยู่ด้วยแต่ความสิ่งที่ต้องจับตานั้นคืออะไร
Risks that we watch out for certainly are recession risks. One of the key buyers of technology are enterprises, and we know that their propensity to buy technology is highly correlated to changes in corporate profitability.
Yes, that's right.
And so if corporate profit growth is slowing, then their tech investing will slow. Now, along those lines, we feel like the themes we're invested in are much more oriented towards driving disruption. It's going to be the tools that these companies are going to use to drive greater productivity and defend themselves from the digital disruptors. So even if we get a recession and growth in corporate profitability slows, we think the companies we've selected will be more resilient. We are watching regulatory risks out of China and out of Europe quite closely. Some of our big companies in the fund are, they're big data platforms. And I think that the aggregation of data and the power they have in the markets are probably a growing concern for governments in Europe and in China. So we watch that. And then certainly there's risks around cyber hacking. We saw the attack on Equifax in the US. It's also impacted some users in Canada, I believe in the UK. So we make certain that the companies we invest in are investing significantly in security infrastructure, strong governance, strong controls. We have investments in security in the portfolio to benefit from that also.